With the final episode of Attack on Titan on the way, there's no better time than now to recount the events of the series. This video is the first in a 6-chapter series covering every major event in Attack on Titan, from Ymir and the emergence of the founding Titan to where the anime is right now on the rumbling. This video will be covering every event and arc in the anime chronologically and will be counted as X amount of years before or after TGR, referring to the grim reminder in episode 1 of the series, meaning every flashback and instance of time travel will be retold in the universe's natural progression. By extension, this means that if you aren't caught up to the Attack on Titan anime up to Attack on Titan the final season, the final chapters part 1, still can't believe that's the real title, then you'll be heavily spoiled for major events in the series. By the way, since this video won't contain any spoilers for people who have not read the manga, don't discuss the manga's ending in the comments. This also includes any anime only ending debates and or theories. I get that a lot of people were unsatisfied with how Isayama ended the manga, but it's been over 2 years, and at this point, if we're being honest, going by certain marketing and merchandising and figures, it doesn't really seem like anime only ending is happening anyway. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. Our journey starts roughly 2,000 years before the Grim Reminder. A tribe known as Eldia continues their journey of conquering any and all civilizations they deem fit. They come across a lowly yet innocent tribe of people and decide to take them as slaves. One of these slaves being a young girl named Ymir. One day, the Eldian King Fritz gathers all the slaves together. He tells them that one of the pigs that was supposed to be watched over by the slaves was let loose and lost. King Fritz tells the slaves that if whoever did it doesn't come forth, every one of the slaves will have their eyes gouged out. All of them then point to Ymir, blaming her even though she wasn't the one who did it. They all just wanted to save their own skin. King Fritz, believing that Ymir was the one who freed the pig, declares that Ymir is now free, but sends his warriors after her to hunt her down in the woods. As Ymir runs through the woods, bloodied and wounded, she finds a massive tree with an entrance in it. Seeking shelter from Fritz's warriors, she walks inside. She immediately falls down into the body of water inside the tree, and a strange creature known as the source of all living matter attaches itself to Ymir's spine. Due to Ymir's desire to protect herself from her pursuers, the source of all living matter adapts to her desires and transforms her into a massive humanoid creature, the world's first ever Titan, the founding Titan. Not long after gaining the power of the founding Titan and presumably killing King Fritz's hunters, Ymir, for a reason that the anime has yet to answer, returns to King Fritz. Fritz decides to use Ymir's power to grow the tribe of Eldia into an empire. Over the next few years, Ymir uses her Titan powers to cultivate land, build transportation, and wage war on Eldia's enemies, and it grows extremely powerful. King Fritz decides to, quote, reward Ymir by taking her as his wife and giving her 3 daughters. The daughters' names were Rose, Maria, and Sheena. 13 years after Ymir got her Titan powers, a soldier belonging to one of Eldia's enemies, Marley, is before King Fritz and his royal family. The Marleyan soldier attempts to murder King Fritz by throwing a spear at him, but Ymir gets in the way and takes it for him. King Fritz doesn't even ask if his wife is okay and simply tells her to stand up, believing that something as trivial as a spear should not be able to kill the founding Titan. But alas, Ymir gives in to death, no longer having the will to live. Very soon after, King Fritz gathers his 3 daughters and orders them to eat the spine of Ymir's body, as the spine is where the source of all living matter connected to her. Ymir's soul finds itself inside a dimension known as the Paths. The tree of light made inside the Paths represents Ymir, while the branches represent her descendants and those with power of the Titans. There, whenever a Titan shifter calls on the power of the Titans, Ymir would mold it out of sand and send it down into the real world made of flesh and blood. Years later, King Fritz is on his deathbed. He tells his daughters that they must not let their mother's power die out, and that they must let someone of Eldian blood eat their spines, just as they did to Ymir, to make sure the power of the Titans never dies out. Around 590 to 600 years BTGR, the Eldian Empire has become a global world power. The process of passing down Titan powers has continued for multiple generations. As a result of this, Ymir's Titan powers have split off into 9 individual powers: the Warhammer Titan, the Jaw Titan, the Cart Titan, the Female Titan, the Armor Titan, the Colossal Titan, the Beast Titan, the Attack Titan, the most powerful of all, the Founding Titan. The Founding Titan also has the ability to telepathically communicate with and alter the DNA and appearance of all Eldians, as well as control any and all Titans past and present. Unlike the power of the 8 other Titans, which can be used by anyone who inherits it as long as they are of Eldian blood. If someone inherits the Founding Titan, they can only use its power if they are a direct descendant of Ymir, meaning they'd have to be a part of the royal bloodline. Another drawback of being a Titan shifter is that you can only live for 13 years after receiving the Titan powers, as Ymir died 13 years after receiving her powers. There's also the emergence of the 10th type of Titan, known as a mindless Titan. These Titans are completely different from the other 9, as the human that turned into the Titan has completely lost almost all ability ability to speak unless they come into contact with something or someone that was important to them when they were human. They also lack the ability to exit the Titan to regain human form, meaning that until they eat a Titan shifter, they are stuck in their Titan form forever. These mindless Titans have a single instinct and desire, which is to eat humans. They eat humans in hopes that they are eating one of the 9 Titan shifters so they can once again become human. Also, from here on out, when I say Titan without specifying if it's one of the 9, I just mean mindless Titans. The emergence of the mindless Titans also gives way for another method of passing down Titan powers. The person who will be receiving the Titan powers would be injected with spinal fluid of any of the 9 Titan shifters, turning them into a mindless Titan. The now mindless Titan would then devour any of the 9 shifters they are to receive the power from. After devouring the shifter, mindless Titan's mind and body revert to how it was before being injected, but now they possess the power of the shifter they've just eaten. The founding Titan's power is demonstrated when a deadly plague sweeps the entire world, but everyone except for Eldians are affected, as the holder of the founding Titan at the time used its power to alter the DNA of every single Eldian to be immune to the plague. Around 500 years before the Grim Reminder, over the generations, the Eldian Empire has grown even more and more, and made many close allies such as the nation of Hizuru. Over these years, multiple high-ranking Eldian families begin infighting over control of the Titans, though the founding Titan continues to stay within the royal bloodline. Eventually, the 145th Eldian king, Karl Fritz, decides that the Eldian people deserve retribution for the heinous crimes they've committed for hundreds and hundreds of years. It begins conspiring with the Tiber family, the Eldian family that holds the Warhammer Titan, to bring the Eldian Empire to its downfall. Eventually, the infighting between the Eldian families turns into an Eldian civil war known as the Great Titan War. The descendants of Marley take advantage of this chaos and are able to fight back against Eldia, and lead to many of the Titan-holding families siding with Marley, of course the first one being the Tiber family. As the Great Titan War continues, Karl Fritz and the Tiber family fabricate a great hero named Heros to further instigate the Eldian infighting, as well as Marley's will to fight. Marley gains control of 7 of the 9 Titans, those being the Warhammer Titan, the Armor Titan, the Colossal Titan, the Female Titan, the Beast Titan, the Cart Titan, and the Jaw Titan, while Eldia maintains control of the Founding Titan, and the status of the Attack Titan is unknown. As Eldia becomes severely weakened, Karl Fritz decides to take the majority of the royal family and many non-royal Eldians away from the mainland to the last piece of undisputed Eldian territory, an island east of the mainland known as Paradis. Karl Fritz also makes Paradis the new Eldian capital. Using the founding Titan's power, Karl Fritz orders countless colossal Titans to harden, creating 3 walls around Eldia's remaining territory. These 3 walls being named after Ymir's children, Rose, Maria, and Sheena. This brings an end to the Great Titan War. As well as pure-blooded Eldians, multiple citizens of Hizuru, specifically those who descended from the Shogun clan who'd often visit Paradis before and during the Great Titan War, were now stranded on the island. These former Hizuru citizens would then begin their own clan, known as the Azumabito family or the Oriental clan. After finishing creating the walls, Karl Fritz gathers everyone on the island inside them. He gives Marley and the rest of the world a warning, stating that if the peace of Paradis is challenged or interrupted, the countless colossal Titans within the walls would unharden and march across the world, flattening everything and everyone outside of Paradis. This statement, however, is untrue, as Karl Fritz only said this to keep the rest of the world from messing with the people on Paradis. If anyone actually did come to kill the civilization on the island, he would simply let it happen, as he believes it is what his people deserved after almost centuries of tormenting the rest of the world. This vow stating he'd simply let the people of Paradis be killed if attacked will go on to be known as the Vow Renouncing War. Karl Fritz then uses the founding Titan's power to alter the memories of everyone in the walls to make them believe that the civilization they're a part of is the last remains of humanity after Titans mysteriously appeared and exterminated the majority of humanity. This doesn't affect some citizens, however, as they aren't pure-blooded Eldians, specifically the Ackerman clan, which is an offshoot of the Azumabito family. Across the sea on the once Eldian mainland, Marley has fully restored its nation. Instead of exterminating the remaining Eldians and even descendants of the royal Eldian family, Eldians are instead treated as low-class citizens and put into internment zones away from the rest of the Marleyan population. These Eldians are required to wear armbands indicating that they're Eldian, black, yellow for citizens, and blue for soldiers. Marley also taints the tale of how Ymir received her powers, saying that she made a deal with the devil of all earth, as well as making up lots of other things that Eldians just didn't do or heavily exaggerated them. They also let the Tiber family keep the Warhammer Titan, as they were the first to go against Fritz in the Great Titan War. Karl Fritz then lets the remaining Fritz family and Marley, as well as the Tiber family, know about the Vow Renouncing War, and lets lets them know that if Marley actually does try to take out Paradis once and for all, nothing will be done, as he just wants him and his people to enjoy a short period of peace before their true retribution. Not being affected by the mind wipe, the Ackermans and Orientals reject Karl Fritz and rebel, but they are stripped of their nobility and the majority are hunted down and persecuted. A few of the Orientals, however, escape off Paradis and go to live somewhere else. To make sure the founding titan is kept safe, the royal family hides among the people as the noble Rice family. The place of the Fritz family is taken over by another bloodline and creates a false monarchy. An underground cavern is also created for the founding titan to be passed down safely without the knowledge of the public. Not long after, a chapel is constructed above the cavern as a secret entrance. And that brings us to the end of chapter 1. Currently, the year is 743, 100 years before the Grim Reminder. The Eldian Empire has fallen, Marley controls the mainland as well as the majority of the 9 titans. I hope to see you all again when we cover the beginning of a plan to restore Eldia as well as Marley's plan to wipe out Paradis once and for all in chapter 2. Thank you all for watching the video. If you want to see more recaps like this, then be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you all for watching, and that's all from me.